Hi and welcome to another episode of I Love Youth Work. On today's show, Robin gets to speak with Christian Achaleke. Christian is an amazing youth peace advocate working out of Cameroon. He's designed some projects and programs helping young people overcome potential radicalisation from violent extremist groups. Christian was also voted Commonwealth Young Person of the Year in 2016. This is a great interview. Although some of the sound and some of the visuals are not up to our usual standards, the content is amazing, full of wisdom and tips and strategies that you could use immediately. Thank you so much for your support so far. If there's any comments and questions about this video, please feel free to get in touch with us. Thanks for watching and thanks for your support. Yo, and welcome to another episode of I Love Youth.
Hi, welcome to I Love Youth Work.
Welcome to another episode of I
Welcome
Love
to
Youth
another
Work.
edition of I Love Youth Work. That's the name.
I like youth work, and your mama loves youth work.
Hi, welcome to another episode of the I Love Youth Work show. And today we have the pleasure of being able to speak with a close friend of mine, Achaleke, who is all the way over in Cameroon. Achaleke, would you like to just introduce yourself to the viewers, please?
Yeah, thank you very much, Robin. It's really a pleasure. My name is Christian Achaleke. I'm from the Republic of Cameroon. I serve as the Pan-Commonwealth Coordinator of the Commonwealth Youth Peace Ambassadors Network. It's a network of young peace builders across the Commonwealth. And I was 2016 Commonwealth Young Person of the Year. And in Cameroon, I serve as the National Coordinator of Local Youth Corner, which is a youth peace and counter-violent extremism organization, which is based in Cameroon.
Wow, busy man. And the work that you're doing, before we go into any questions, I want to just honor you and the work you're doing. I think it's you're unstoppable. You're doing some amazing work. It's sad that some of that work is still needed in this 21st century. It seems that there is some issues. I remember when we first met at Marlborough House on a Commonwealth Day event. There was a lot of talk and some protests outside about the situation in Cameroon.
Yeah. Which
Which very few people seem to know about outside of Cameroon. It's not well publicized. But would you like to just say a little bit about the work that you're doing about the situation you currently have in your country, please?
Well, my country is currently in crisis. With crisis, I mean active violence, and which spans from the extreme north, which is the regions where in 2014 we had the Boko Haram insurgency, and we had many young people victims of violence. Many young people were victims of radicalization and recruitment, and it has been an ongoing conflict. And most recently, in the northwest and the southwest regions, which these two regions are English-speaking regions, we've had violence that grew from from the baby stage to what it is now, where we have we've lost a lot of people already, and we have over 200,000 people internally displaced, and we have refugees from these regions, and a lot is going on. But our work as young peace builders and experts in the space of counter-violent extremism is to look for solutions. And it is what I've been engaged in for the past 11, 12 years in my work, from community violence, and it has grown on up to what we have. When we started working, it was based on, the violence we had in community gangs and everything. With my past of growing up in violence, it has been to correct some of these wrongs, to ensure that young people don't find themselves trapped as agents of violence who are recruited by extremist group and all of that. But now my country is in a very sad situation with a lot of lives lost. But it only calls us to do more work to ensure that we can bring both parties together for us to seek solutions which would not be cosmetic, and ensure that young people do not find themselves at the crossroad of violence. And it's a more reason why we do the work which we currently do in prisons, where we are trying to give young people in prison an alternative to violence, because prisons are usually recruitment grounds.
Yeah.
And we are transforming them into what we call prisonpreneurs, so entrepreneurs from prison, who provide services and have products that are consumed by people out of prison, and in turn, this helps to facilitate their reinsertion and reintegration back into the community, as well as provide them, financial, capacity and literacy. So that's what we are trying to do in Cameroon. We are hoping to expand to do much more work as we work on peace and security and many other components when it comes to ensuring that peace reigns.
That the Prisonpreneur program that you run is phenomenal. I remember when we first met, we had a powerful conversation around how both of us, when we're working with people in any form of conflict, and I'm happy to say that for me, the sort of conflict we're dealing with here is not on a par with the conflict that you're dealing with over there. But we know that the roots of all conflict are similar. And it's emotional responses to things that if people run out of emotion and run out of ways of dealing with it, it spills over into actual violence rather than verbal or other thought forms. And the conversation that we had was very much around how we both have a belief or some knowledge that young people are always the solution to these problems. Even if they're engaged in the violence, even if they're involved in the violence, the solution must come from them. And the last time we spoke, you mentioned something about the school that you're working on. I'd love to hear a little bit more about that, please, my brother.
Well, it's a project which we are working on. We are going beyond just providing skills. We have identified a community of young people, children, who are victims of Boko Haram insurgency. Most of them have run away from, thousands of miles trekking. I mean, children 2 years old, 3 years old, and they find themselves in a particular in the residence of a religious teacher. And we realize that in this residence of this teacher, he cannot offer a lot to them. It's a Quranic teacher. He can only teach them the Quran. But these young people go out the day begging. And my research, which I did in northern Nigeria and of course Cameroon, shows that these violent extremist groups actually prey on such young people because they have lost their family, because they have no hope, because there's no source of knowledge or critical mindset and all of that. So upon identification of this space, my colleagues and I, we visited this most recently in this highly hit Boko Haram zone, and we want to start an educational program for these children because most of them cannot even speak the two national languages. So it means they are nowhere to be found. So we want to start a community school, and which would my colleagues and I will be, creating time to teach them. And this is the kind of work we do just because of passion, with no support or anything. We want to start it because these children are potential recruits, and the religious teacher who is in charge of them, has no resources to do anything. These children, they sleep over 12 of them in a room which is not up to 2 meters square. Oh. So you can imagine, they have no beds, nothing. The situation is so precarious. And we told ourselves, what can we do? And we want not just to give them clothes or shoes or beds to sleep on, but we want to invest in them, to invest in their personality, to build the identity, to teach them, and to ensure that they will be ready, to receive, any form of training, any form of mentorship, or a life after what they are going through. So it is very, very sad with what we have. This religious teacher, shared examples of some of the kids who have lost their parents from, the insurgents, and some of the children will go and never return. Some of them are found at the end of the day wearing a suicide vest and all of that. It is something which we really want to start apart from everything which we do, because we know that education is going to provide them an opportunity to become much more better and create a safe space for them to think critically and see themselves as citizens of this country with hope and an opportunity to become better. So hope is the thing which we want to work on here.
What fantastic work. And I think you hit on something there that is powerful, in that the link between these two projects, the prisonpreneurs and these young children that are being exploited, you've mentioned it before to me, where the overlap is. So some of the prisonpreneurs will become very inspirational supporters of these young children. And it's the provision of the sort of education you're talking about, the support, the safety, and this ability to create some form of positive identity that doesn't lead to anything violent. Any of us, if we feel safe and secure in who we are, where we are, what we're capable of, we become less liable to be exploited and manipulated into any form of extremism.
Very true.
But once again, I have to commend you on your work. It's phenomenal that you're doing. And you're a young guy. You're a young guy, still, able to qualify for youth awards and things.
Oh yeah.
So it's fantastic to see somebody who has made so much progress internationally, but then goes back and takes everything that you've learned, everything that you've managed to accrue on your journeys back into your own community. I'm sure it's not an easy process.
It's not easy, but Robin, it's about who I am, my past, which I always talk about.
Yeah.
Growing and living violence, seeing violence on hand, losing very close friends from violence, and someone gave me an opportunity to become better. I met someone who told me, violence, gang violence has nothing which could pay you off, but you are talented, you are energetic, you have the capacity to transform the negativity into positivity. Those words made me what I am today. And I'm asking myself every day, how do I make many more young people become different?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm doing, because I believe my life is a testimony of that transformation.
And they are the same skills. They're the same skill sets. I mean, somebody who is a recruiter for a gang, or a recruiter for extremism, is able to engage with young people, is able to bring them on side, is able to give them an identity, a cause, a sense of belonging. And all of that can be turned into very positive work if you change the grouping. Sure,
very true.
And that's what you're doing. So, another question I really wanted to ask you was about your, if you have a sort of a favorite moment or a particular case that always comes to mind when you think about the work you've done over the years, a proud moment.
Yeah, my proud moment happened last year, and we visited one of the prisons, and because we do a lot of things in prisons, we do sports, we do education, because we have a combination of processes to facilitate rehabilitation. So we don't just provide skills. And on this fateful day, and this was in the community where I'm from, and in this prison, over 60% of the inmates are my friends, are my people who grew up with, so they know me.
Yeah.
And they could identify themselves with me. They knew what I went through. And after presiding the ceremony, and there was a special moment, the inmates, your spokesperson came up, and came up with a traditional staff, and a pen which was designed traditionally, and a walking stick, and brought it up and said, "I want to speak on behalf of my peers." And he told me, "Christian, what you've done to us is not because you have money. It's not because you are the son of any influential person, but you grew up with a lot of us. We know you, but you've made us know that, we could keep violence inside and become positive. And on this day, we know that you've been recognized by a lot of people, but we want to call you the father of prisoners." It meant a lot to me, because these are people that we've been working for over a year plus. And people abandon them, people don't want to talk to them, think that it was people, but they know how to recognize, they know how to say thank you in a special way. And he gave me the staff of office and said, traditionally in our African culture, when you're given that staff, it means you're a leader. I'm giving you this staff of office to say you are our father. And gave me a walking stick and said, we know you are young, but the way you think like an old person. So by the time you grow gray, you would have this walking stick to walk. And as we speak, I have that walking stick in my office, and I look at it every day. And they gave me the pen and said, with this pen, you think a lot. So this pen will come as a blessing for you to write more brilliant ideas and change more lives. Robin, this meant a lot to me. Having been, recognized by several people and international platforms, but, back in a group of people that people criticize every day, people condemn, people push to the wall. But trust me, they know what it means to say thank you. So it means that we just need to make them much more better. So,
and coming from your own peers, that means so much, doesn't it?
It means a lot to me.
Beautiful. Well, a lovely story. Now, I've seen much of your stuff online, and we will put some links in the description to some of your pages and your websites and stuff. The project where you've got the prisoners making the shoes recycling the tires,
Yep.
is phenomenal. I love watching it. And how is that going? Progressing well?
Well, it's progressing so well, and because the first thing is, being able to, bring them into the conversation of the SDGs, for example.
Yeah.
They have been excluded a lot.
Yeah.
When they talk about SDGs, they talk about development programs. They forget about young people in prison.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, oh my. So this meant a lot to us, because when we started doing this program, it was about, transforming used tires, engaging them in the conversation of climate change and climate protection, which is something which we had to think of.
Mm.
So, and so far the project, these young people do produce, and we were fortunate to have BWTV interested to do a documentary on this work, and it was a serious blessing to them, because they saw that the local things they do, they who are usually pushed aside and abandoned, international media wants to talk about their work. And these tires are not just tires that we see everywhere. In Cameroon, we have no recycling program.
Right.
These tires are dumped in waste bins, and they are burnt, they pollute the environment. And we told them, why don't we give an alternative? And now we do these flip-flops. As we speak, a lot of people have shown interest. We've had contacts from Australia, South Africa, and most often when I travel for my events, I take this along. And a lot of people, do not just want to patronize it, but they say this is a true innovation in the space of climate protection and environmental protection. And we are hoping that we could do much more better, but we only do with the resources that we have, which comes from local fundraising and all of that.
Well, you start with what you have, and you've started so well with what you have.
Yes. So far they have produced over 100 pairs already.
Right.
Which is a very good start, and it is very. If you watch the video, you will see it's very traditional what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Because they do not have the machines, but we told them, the process of rehabilitation is to teach them how to be patient, is to teach them that life is about stages. So we do all of these intentionally.
That's
we make
wonderful.
them know that they can only have money when they work, and that's why the products which they produce and they sell, the resources go back to them. We don't dash them money. We don't give them food. We don't give them drinks.
Yeah.
So we teach them how to work hard and earn their own income, because most of the young people are recruited in violence because they wanted fast cash.
Right. They just want money.
So we are teaching them how to become producers. We are teaching them how to become responsible and all of that, which is very important.
I love that film of the shoe production from the tires. And I think that it's another example of, again, what we spoke about when you came to London the last time. We spoke about this sharing of knowledge from the south, the global south, to the north. You guys you guys have so much to teach us about about working. No, seriously, working in conditions that people here wouldn't consider possible. Doing things that with very little resources, you make things work, you make things happen, and we need to learn. We need to learn from that. Have you got a message as we draw this interview to a close? Have you got a message for the youth workers across the globe that will be watching this?
Yeah, I think I got the message which I always share, that serving your community, youth work, it's all about passion. We have the energy, and as young as we could be, sometimes we are neglected, but we need to love what we do. It's very important. We need to know that what we do is giving people hope. It's making our world a better place. So we should not stop. We need to keep going. Even when you're criticized, even when you're praised, you must stay humble. And you must be a true leader who's a servant. And the most important thing as a youth leader or youth worker is to ensure that you help and train and mentor other young people to become better than you. Because that is a true test of leadership. The true test of leadership is that leader who is able to make way for others to become much more better, and for others to do much more impact. So I think that is what's much more important. And this is my message for you out there, that we need to make and train and mentor other young people to become better than us and to do what we've never done. And together, we can make the world a better place and a peaceful place. And I know that young people, ambassadors of peace and change are not agents of violence, that I know so well.
That's a fantastic message, a hopeful message, and a message that sadly is needed more now than many, many years before.
Oh, yeah.
My brother, Christian Achaleke, thank you so much for this interview. I think we'll do another one soon. Maybe we'll go into some more depth into one of the projects. I want to thank you for your time. I want to honor you again for the amazing work you're doing, and just to say I'm proud to know you.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure. And I'm honored to know you too, brother.
Well, I look forward to the day when we work together. It's coming.
Sure,
I know it's coming
very soon. Yeah.
I know it's coming. And the rest of my team think likewise as well. So thank you again. Thank you again.